Hi, my name is Drew Nicholson, and I'll be hosting Toronto Unscripted. And today I have with me is Peter and Sanya. Sanya, would you like to start on introducing yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for introducing me. Hello, everyone. My name is Sanya. I'm 25 years old and I've lived in Toronto pretty much my whole life. I was born in Hong Kong, but I moved here with my family when I was one. We moved around multiple suburbs. I lived in Etobicoke for a bit, moved to Mississauga. I'm currently now living in Brampton, and by September, I will be living downtown. So, yeah, I love Toronto. I'm so glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Peter, and I moved back from India 1986 when I first come into the country, and went to school, went to Humber College, and right now I'm in trucking. I That's what I do for a living, and I seen Toronto like changed a lot. I mean, I seen it all. So yeah, thank
Okay,
you so much for inviting us.
of course. Sanya, so you said you were born in Hong Kong. That's very interesting to me because I thought about visiting Hong Kong, but the only thing that's stopping me is the long plane flight to get in there. So elaborate a little bit on how life was in Hong Kong and what made you come to Toronto.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually ethnically Indian. My parents worked in the hotel management industry back in India, and they realized they weren't happy with the amount of opportunities that were available there. And so, both of them being entrepreneurial and big risk takers, they decided to make the jump to Hong Kong. So they lived there for 7 or 8 years. And in the last year, they decided to have me. They were ready to have a family. Unfortunately, I can't speak to a lot of the experience of living in Hong Kong myself because I obviously moved away when I was one and I haven't been back. But I do know that a lot of their reason of staying there and being there was because the sky was the limit of what you could do. There were so many opportunities for success, and everyone there is ambitious and ready to kind of hustle and make money. Yeah, they kind of decided to move to Canada when it was time to slow down and have a family, settle down.
That's amazing. I just like the sound of someone's story coming from Asia or from Africa. It's just very interesting the fact that they're coming here to Canada and they're doing so well, or they just find a dream to be here in Toronto. And Peter, it was nice meeting you today because I was going to talk about freight brokering. I'm fairly a new freight broker, and I focus strictly on getting carriers and shippers. And you tell me that you are in trucking for a very long time, and it's something that I'm interested in as well. So how long have you been in trucking?
I started as a Pawitter courier driver, and from Pawitter courier, then I went to same day right away. Same day right away is basically owned by McCain Foods. Dane Ross also, they're part of the same umbrella. So I with Pawitter, I was working in the hub, sorting freight, like sorting from like Etobicoke freight on one side and Scarborough freight on the other side, and so on, or different cities. Then I got into driving. I used to drive that van that the drivers usually keep their doors open, and just go around my route and deliver packages and pick up packages and stuff like that. But then I moved to same day right away. That's when I became owner operator. So I bought my own truck, and because it was good money, I was making very good money actually back then. Now things change. Fuel I was paying. I pumped a fuel here in Toronto. I believe it was 23 cents a liter. Okay, and I was paying only $5 in insurance per day.
Whoa.
Yeah. So right
Things have
now
changed.
things
Really
are
changed.
like totally
Yeah.
off the roof.
But
And
do you? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
yeah.
But you still think it's worth it for, say, an owner operator today to get into?
Yeah, worth it if you're in with the right proper company. That company treats you right.
Yeah.
There's obviously a lot of scammers there too. Like if you're in a right outfit that treat people fairly, it's a it's a opportunity, right? That you can basically build your wealth from one truck. Because since I've been so long in the industry, I know people that started as a driver like myself, and today they're owner of like a big fleets. I know one guy that owns over 600 trucks, and he does
Wow.
all North
What a
America.
management.
Yeah. But obviously nothing comes easy or overnight. You know what I mean? You have to work hard. Yeah.
And for Sanya, we really do like your energy that you bring to the podcast. So what are like your passions? What do you like to do during like your free time? Do you like on your creative side?
Yeah, absolutely. I like to say that I am a jack of all trades. I think I'm interested in everything. I think I'm just a curious person that loves to learn about absolutely anything in the world, which I think being in Toronto is such a great, opportunity and place for me to be because of that, because I love things like fitness and beauty and self-care, but I'm also really interested in business and entrepreneurship and real estate and investing. I was a double major in math and economics in school. My first job out of school was working in finance. I worked with investment bankers and traders. Decided I didn't like it. And so I learned how to code. I became an engineer. I'm currently working as an engineer at the Score. So my long answer to your question is that I believe the sky's the limit, and I can just learn and be interested in anything that I want to.
This is perfect because all three of us are entrepreneurs and we're all in different categories. So that's what makes this podcast more special for me, because I'm learning from you two, and it's been a pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having us here.
Thank
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah.
So I started a company called NE Transportation. NE stands for no excuses, but I can't have that on paper because someone else already took it. But so what makes me different from other companies is, as a freight broker, there's a big problem with freight brokers taking 20%, 30%, or even 40% per load, which is outrageous.
Can I ask you to rewind a second and tell me what a freight broker is in the first place?
Yes, perfect. So a freight broker is the middleman between a carrier and a shipper, and it's their job to make sure that the freight is picked up and delivered on time.
Okay.
So basically, at my job, I call the shipper and I say, hey, I have a truck that is equipment, dry van. I know that my rate is going to be cheaper than what you're paying. Can I give you a quote? If they say yes, I send them a shipper packet, which they fill out their information. I send them my surety bond, my insurance, and if they confirm, then I can send that unload to Peter, for instance. And then I call Peter and I say, hey, Peter, I got a load. Here's the rate con. Here's the tender. I can explain that on a different day. We can go on all day about this.
That's too big of a bridle.
Yeah, it's a lot, but
it's like it's never-ending story to it.
Yeah.
Well, you seem quite young. I'm curious to know how you got into an industry like that. It seems like it's so out there.
Okay, so I'm a very creative guy. So throughout my entire life, I've been like building like small businesses. I've failed miserably at one point.
That's how you learn. Same here too.
My investments were very poor. I don't know what I was thinking. But my dream is to like not have to wake up and go into a job where either it's not for me or I just don't want to be working in a company. I just know it's not for me. So yeah, but I still feel that all of us, like the fact that we all have a dream, we're all here in Toronto, and I feel like being here in Toronto, it makes it a little bit more possible. So we're very fortunate, and yeah. So positives and negatives in Toronto. So what can you say is your biggest positive and your biggest negative of living in Toronto?
Peter, would you like to go first? I've been going first.
I think I'll go first. My biggest since I'm like a professional driver, I hate traffic. Traffic in Toronto now, it's just nuts.
Up the roof.
Can't stand it anymore. I've been on the road over 25 years doing what I'm doing, and it's right now. It's the point. That's why what I want to shift from me driving. I rather have or own a business. I had my own business. I had 14 trucks of my own at one time. Then 9/11 happened, and that's another chapter. But traffic, it's just never-ending story. We have winters, summer, and then the third season is construction. I don't know what's going on. You go to 401, there's not even a single section that's not under construction.
Yeah.
So that's my biggest, complaint regarding Toronto traffic. It's getting worse than Chicago.
Yeah,
Some of the cities in U.S., it's getting worse than that. And we have lot less population, even though like past few years population got lot quicker. Gained so much. A lot of people came to the country, but still, traffic something I cannot stand. Yeah.
And your biggest positive? What's
biggest positive? It's Toronto is wild city. I've been to other parts of the country too. Toronto, basically, if you're focused, you want to do something. Even for example, for freight brokerage, right? If you're going to be focused, and you're putting your focus 100% into it, you'll achieve because there's tons of opportunity to grow, especially in Toronto.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good. It's good city though. Just traffic is just something I just can't stand.
I would say that I'm an optimist, so I have to start with my positives. My favorite thing about the city is the fact that all of these 900 million hobbies that I told you that I have, I feel like there's a community and a place for me to go for every single one of them. And I feel like that's really rare for you to find in cities. I think in smaller cities in Canada or even smaller cities across the US, all over the world, to be honest, I've traveled so much. I feel like when you are part of a certain city, there's an expectation that you are a certain type of person. Maybe you're really career oriented or you're family oriented or you're of a certain race, ethnic background. I find Toronto is so diverse and you see it in so many different facets of our lives. You'll see it in the food, you'll see it in the music, you'll see it in the kinds of activities that are available for people to do. And I don't know, I think it lets people kind of decide whoever it is that they want to be, which where else are you going to find that,
Yep.
In terms of the negatives, I think that, it's tough for me to say because I try not to focus on the negatives in life. Yeah. But if I had to say, then I wish there was a little bit more transparency with our leaders and the community. I think that there's a lot of issues that people experience in their day-to-day lives, like, groceries being so expensive or interest rates being so high. And I don't think we have effective communication from the people who are in positions of leadership telling us kind of how we should navigate those difficulties or teaching the day-to-day, the average person walking on the street, how they can try to improve their lives, and as a result, we have people struggling. And it doesn't need to be that way. I went to Japan back in December and I was with my younger brother who knows way more about Japan than I do. And I was just walking around and I could see how much more beautiful of an environment it was, down to the fact that they had vending machines with dollar water bottles, which I was so blown away by because never in my life have I seen a water bottle being sold for $1 in Toronto. It's not that we can't do it. It's just that the people in power don't prioritize the community and the development of the individuals. I'm sure there's room for growth there, and I have full faith in people in our generation to be able to change that. But that's my opinion.
That's good. And I can say my biggest positive about being in Toronto is, again, the people. Like just today, I was just sitting down eating some Kentucky, and this guy out of nowhere just started having a conversation about me with me about like they were filming a movie like just up the road, and he was just so open to have a conversation with me, and it was so cool because I was sitting there by myself. He could have just literally just walked past me and just mind his own business.
Sure.
And it happened twice actually. I was just chilling on the bench. I was just chilling there, and this guy comes up to me and he's like, "Oh, you look so relaxed. That's good. Like enjoy your day." Like, wow. But the negative, I'm just speaking on today. But the negative, there's a lot of homeless. Like if I could give money to everyone, I can, but I can't just keep giving money away. You know what I mean? Like they ask for some change.
Homelessness has actually grown as fast as the traffic.
Yeah. It's insane.
Because I do a lot of sites here in downtown. I seen it all, man. It's just getting worse and worse. It just things are getting so expensive. Families having a hard time to keep up with all their expenses, mortgages, and everything else, food. That's the route where this homelessness and people are having a lot of mental issues.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, that's also a big topic in Toronto life right now. People are having a lot of big issues with mental health. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming, you guys. That's all the time we have for today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Such a pleasure to be on. Thank you for being such a wonderful host.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.